What's going on, Nasty Nation? It's Nasty, and today I'm going to be going over every single aspect of the champion Rakan. This guide is going to include skill order, build paths, counter picks, combos, and many more things, so without further ado, let's get started. Rakan is the perfect combination of a caster and tank support. He has the capability to engage similar to champions like Leona or Alistar, while also having the benefit of being able to pull off builds similar to champions like Janna or Soraka. Rakan is also arguably the most mobile support in the game, granting him the ability to roam around the map, initiate teamfights, and get out of slippery situations with ease. Overall, Rakan is a great champion to look to pick up, because once his versatile kit is mastered, he can be quite the carry-style support, even when not paired with his lover Xayah. Rakan's passive is Fey Feathers. Occasionally, Rakan will gain a small shield that will remain until broken. It's not the most important piece of Rakan's kit though, because although convenient at times, it isn't the most oppressive passive in the game by any means. Rakan's passive also includes a portion called Lover's Leap, which is only activated when an ally Xayah is in the same game. Lover's Leap allows either Xayah or Rakan to join in on the other's recall to shorten the time required to head back to the fountain. This is most commonly used during the lane phase to help an ally Xayah get a better back time. Rakan's Q is Gleaming Quill. When casted, Rakan will throw a short-range feather in a straight line, connecting with the first target hit. If an enemy champion is hit, Rakan can then run to an ally champion and grant them a heal. This is by far Rakan's worst ability, but it can still make a difference in some situations. This ability is most commonly used as a way to do a bit more damage when trading, or simply to heal allies for small amounts. Max this ability last. Rakan's W is Grand Entrance. This ability dashes Rakan forward before knocking all champions within a small radius up after a short delay. This is the most important part of Rakan's kit because it allows him to trade in lane, engage in teamfights, and move around the map quicker. Being able to use this ability effectively is what's going to separate the good Rakans from the great ones, considering it's not the easiest ability to land. Max this ability first. Rakan's E is Battle Dance. This ability allows Rakan to dash to allies, shielding them upon contact. If paired with Xayah, Rakan can jump even further, but only when jumping to Xayah. This ability in combination with W is what makes Rakan so mobile and such a great engager. It's most effectively used as a way to apply art into carries, shield allies from crucial damage, or gap close on enemies to get in range for combos. Max this ability second. Rakan's R is the Quickness. When activated, Rakan builds up speed, charms any enemies he comes into contact with, and gains attack as well as collision range. Rakan's R is a decent ability when used alone, but when combined with his W it can be quite deadly, due to his charm guaranteeing the knockup from W. It's a super important part of Rakan's kit because of all the combos that can be pulled off between these two spells, but I'll go more in depth on that later. Similar to the case of most champions, put a point into R whenever possible. The best rune page to take on Rakan will vary depending on playstyle. If you're looking to play more aggressive and win lane, then this right here is going to be the best rune page to take. Under the sorcery tree, Area will allow you to consistently dish out increased damage and stronger shields. Ultimate Hat will lower your R cooldown slowly but surely, allowing you to make more plays frequently in the later parts of the game. Transcendence grants the extra 10% CDR needed to reach the 40% CDR cap, and Scorch will occasionally allow you to trade for more damage. For the secondary tree, I recommend taking Domination with Cheap Shot and Zombie Ward. Cheap Shot will grant bonus damage every time you CC an enemy, and Zombie Ward helps control the vision game. The other rune page that you can take on Rakan if looking to play more passive and try to scale starts in the Resolve tree. For the Keystone, I recommend taking Aftershock. Even though Guardian is intended for champions like Rakan, Aftershock is simply way too strong in the current state of the game to pass up. However, I can only imagine that it will get nerfed in the near future, so if you're watching this video after the Aftershock nerfs have already been put into place, then switch to Guardian, but until then, Aftershock will be the best Keystone to take in the Resolve tree. As for the rest, Font of Life will allow your teammates to heal when attacking enemy champions you have CC'd, and both Iron Scan and Revitalize increase the effectiveness of Rakan's heals and shields. As for the secondary tree in this rune page, I recommend Inspiration with Magical Footwear and Cosmic Insight. These runes will grant some very basic stats such as movement speed and CDR, as well as gift you with a free pair of tier 1 boots, and you simply can't go wrong with that. Summoner spells share a similar situation considering they too can vary with playstyle. Flash for obvious reasons is going to be the go-to first summoner spell, but because Rakan is the type of champion that can both focus on engaging and making plays, or peeling, both Exhaust and Ignite are viable. For example, Exhaust would work better if you plan on focusing on peeling your carries, whereas Ignite works in the games that you're looking to engage, be more aggressive, and get in the enemy's face. You want to pick Rakan into immobile ADCs like Jinx and Varus, or supports like Brand and Karma that you can freely jump on throughout the entirety of the game. You don't want to pick Rakan into mobile ADCs, such as Ezreal and Tristana, or supports who can easily peel for their carries from your engage, like Janna and Thresh. The best starting item for Rakan is going to depend on lane matchups. Rakan is going to want to start Coin in losing lane matchups, and Spell Thieves in winning matchups. Whichever item you decide to start, you're going to want to upgrade that all the way, whether that be Eye of the Oasis or Eye of the Watchers. Mobility Boots will be the next go-to option in almost all situations. Rakan has some of the most effective roams of all support champions, which is why Mobility Boots are the best choice. Taking Mobility Boots will only enhance Rakan's already impressive mobile kit, making his roams even more oppressive. Ardent is going to come next in the build path, even after the well-deserved nerfs that happened during the end of the last season. Although Ardent isn't worth purchasing first anymore, it's still a really good item, which is why it's so highly prioritized in the build. The fourth item in the set is going to be Redemption. Redemption is going to cap off max CDR as well as add the AoE healing active, which is always a nice addition. Now that CDR is capped, tankier stats are prioritized, which is why Locket is the next go-to item. Out of every tank item in the game, Locket is simply the best choice because it gives both armor and magic resist as well as an AoE shield, which is why we choose it over any other option. To finalize the build, another defensive item that coordinates with the current game situation is what works best. For example, if at this point in the game the enemy has a lot of AD damage, items such as Night's Vow or Zeke's are best, whereas if the enemy team has a lot of AP damage, items such as Crucible or Unholy Grail are best. Getting into the actual gameplay aspect of Rakan, let's talk a little bit about the lane phase. For starters, you want to start W for the early all-in potential, Q second to add additional damage in trades and to help sustain in lane, and E third for additional mobility. Rakan is one of the only champions in the game with the ability to engage and be mobile, which means that during the lane phase, Rakan can easily jump onto the enemy ADC, dish out some damage, and then jump back out safely. With that being said, this should be your sole goal when playing the lane phase as Rakan. If you can manage to land your W, auto a few times, throw out a Q before dashing out during trades in the lane phase, then you should be in a good position to win lane. This is arguably the most important aspect of Rakan's lane phase, but the other very important thing that I should note is his effective ability to set up ganks. Combining his mobility with his CC, Rakan is an absolute monster when it comes to setting up ganks, because he can easily do so by either Wing in if in point blank range, or flashing then Wing if a gap needs to be closed. If the W knockup is landed, then the jungler gets to then freely follow up, and if the enemy laner decides he's forced to flash away, then the jungler then has the opportunity to now approach the gank with the summoner spell already down. During the lane phase and as the game progresses into the mid game, Rakan can easily pull off ganks or roams by pathing behind enemies and using his W to both gap close and knock up. However, because this ability can be somewhat difficult to land, you want to layer it with all the CC possible when looking to roam and make plays in other lanes. This means that at times you might have to be patient and wait for the laner you're ganking for to be in the proper position to use their CC. For whatever reason, if they aren't in position to start off the CC layering, then roams will be less effective, but they can still be attempted nonetheless as a way to burn a summoner spell at least. Rakan's goal during the mid to late game is to group with the team and look to teamfight. In these fights, Rakan's goal is to first look to engage and then peel for carries. Ideally, in a perfect situation, this means Rakan is using his RW combo to initiate a fight before falling back for the remainder, using his Q on frontline champions to heal carries, shielding any nearby AD teammates with E to apply Ardent, and using W whenever up to help peel for your backline. Of all these things though, the engage is by far the most important piece, and this is because the effectiveness of the engage will differ based on the combos used to engage. Rakan's combos include the basic RW, Flash RW, and R Flash W. The RW combo is the most standard combo, and it's used when in point-blank range of initiation. The Flash RW is best used when looking to either close a gap before initiating, or surprise the enemy team with a faster engage. Finally, the R Flash W is the most effective combo because it has the longest CC chain, yet it's the least common. This combo takes a little bit of practice because it takes some precise timing, rather than relying simply on landing abilities. It's also a bit risky because if stunned during the process, not only will the CC chain be interrupted, but it's also very unlikely that you'll be able to get out alive. That is, however, going to complete this Rakan Challenger Champion Guide. I put a lot of time, effort, and research into making this guide, so if you found this to be helpful, or if you just learned something new, consider dropping a like, commenting down below, or subscribing to help the channel grow. I also put together a guide for Nami a while back, so feel free to check that out as well if you haven't already. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.